Greetings. Today, we're going to be discussing conflict resolution. This is something that I think is valuable to learn about. Dealing with so many conflicts in our everyday life, we should learn how to appropriately handle them. Okay, so let's get started. So, what are some conflict starters? What starts a conflict? Well, here's a list. It's not every conflict starter, there may be some others. Name calling, pushing, shoving, acting bossy, accusing, blaming, spreading rumors, generalizing, teasing, putting down, and interrupting. These are all things that can start a conflict. So these are all things we should be actively avoiding doing, right? Actively avoiding doing. So there are different types of interpersonal conflict. There's the pseudo conflict, which is a difference of opinion or a misunderstanding. It's not a real conflict. It just seems like a real conflict because there's a misunderstanding. There's a fact conflict where two or more people may be disagreeing on some facts or what those facts may mean. There's value conflict where the individuals may place different values on different things, right? A person may place more value in blue than they do red, right? Or a policy conflict. Which approach is the best one when addressing a certain problem, right? Like, well, I think we should go left, right, and then up. And the other person says, well, I think we should go right, then left, and down, right? An ego conflict. This is when disagreements get personal. It's not necessarily that you disagree with them, it's just your ego will not allow you to progress past the conflict. And the last one on this list is meta conflict. And this is just arguing about arguing. So when you have issues, right, you want to make sure that you plan ahead. Don't try to resolve a conflict right away. Agree upon a time to meet later. This gives time to collect thoughts and rein in emotions. For example, if you have an issue with your professor, right, an issue in your class, the wrong thing to do would be to try to address the issue in class or during class time, right? That is the wrong time to address any type of conflict or issue you may have with your instructor. You should always agree to meet later on, come by their office hours, or discuss things with them after class in private. This is how you avoid conflict. This is how you avoid conflict with instructors. So there are some different strategies for conflict resolution. One is the withdrawal. This is little or no significance to either party because both of you are just going your separate ways and pretending the situation doesn't exist. Option two is forcing. You force an outcome regardless of the desire of one party. That means, hey, I want to do this, and we're going to do this whether you agree with it or not, right? Consolation, giving in to preserve relationships with the other party, saying, okay, you know what? I think I'm right, but I value this relationship, so I'm going to take a step back and allow you to be correct. There's the compromise. This is concerned with both outcome and relationship, right? We're going to agree that, hey, I'm going to concede some things. You're going to concede some things. We're going to meet halfway. The most optimal way to handle conflict is to meet the problem head on. Have a real discussion about the problem absent of your personal emotions or egos, and then we can come about a solution to the conflict. So always remember to stay respectful. Keep space available for respectful and clear communication. Speak calmly and clearly, and try to think of a few attributes in the other person that you respect and admire, and keep those things in mind during the conversation. Don't just be, when you're upset or frustrated, don't only think about the things you dislike about a person, right? That's going to skew your ability to come about a resolution. You will not be resolution oriented if you're constantly aggravating yourself with things that frustrate you about the situation or about the person. A very important thing to do is practice active listening. Be sure um, to share your perspective and feelings clearly. Listen with intention and understanding when the other person shares their thought, right? Don't get so caught up on saying what you think needs to be said that you neglect to listen to what the other person is saying while they're speaking, right? Don't be thinking about your response before they finish their statement. The next one is avoid placing the blame. Avoid placing the blame. Use I statements when sharing your perspective on the situation and focus on how you feel rather than what they may have done, right? You want to focus on how you feel instead of saying, oh, you know, this, you did this and you did that, X, Y, and Z. Focus on, I felt underappreciated. I felt misunderstood, so on and so forth. So the same way we gave several conflict starters, here are some conflict stoppers, right? Apologize. Ooh, that's a big one. A lot of people don't like that word, but sincerely apologize. Show respect. Just skip it. It's not that big of a deal sometimes. Just pick and choose your battles. Brainstorm. Sit together and try to come up with solutions to issues instead of just going and thinking on your own. Walk away. Just walk away. It's not worth the conflict. Just don't get involved. Get the facts. Make sure you are knowledgeable about what you're talking about before you engage in a conversation. Make a deal. Say, hey, if you let me do this, then I'll do that. Or if you let me have this, if we have this opinion and we do this with this opinion, then we'll use your opinion next time. Ask questions. Try to understand where they're coming from. Just because a person disagrees with you does not make them not a smart person, right? Just because they have a difference of opinions or see the world a different way doesn't make them not smart. Both of you combined make each other smarter, right? As we said before, compromise and tell how you feel. If something hurt you or something affected you greatly, tell people, let them know. They might change the way that they behave towards you after that. When discussing conflicts, use the statement we when discussing ways to move forward and resolve the conflict, right? Try framing the conversation in terms of what is best for both of us, not just what's best for me, but what's best for both, right? Make sure you focus on actions, focus on behaviors or actions rather than personality traits, right? Focus on, because things like behaviors and actions can be more easily targeted and fixed, right? Seek a mutual understanding of how to move forward, something you both agree on. Both people need to be in full agreement in order for this to work. Remember, in mediation, find common ground. Whenever you have conflict, your primary focus should be to find common ground with the person you are in conflict with. Don't take things personally, please. Try to objectively look at the situation. Ask yourself, what are my options? Do I have to be upset? Do I have to be hurt? Is there another explanation for this? Is there another way to think about this? You want to think these things through when you are having conflict. A lot of times we take things personally that's not even intended to be personal. Avoid filling in the blanks. If you think someone meant something that they didn't say, get clarity. Get clarity. Don't just assume your professor meant this or just assume that's what someone meant. Get clarity. Do ask yourself if you are totally clear about the meaning of the person's words. If you're not, please give them a chance to try to clarify because you may be entirely wrong about the scenario. Make sure to schedule a check-in and end conversations with plans on how to work together, avoiding to avoid falling into a pattern of conflict. And always try setting up a plan to check in down the line to ensure that everyone feels satisfied and is upholding their end of the agreement. Again, this was just a brief PowerPoint presentation on conflict resolution. Hopefully, you will find value in this and be able to handle conflicts a little bit better in the future. Thank you for taking the time to watch this PowerPoint. Have a great day.